Don't you remember the island? And what we had to do to earn these powers?
You'd have to drink an entire bottle of whiskey to not be immediately sobered up by this dreary DCEU fit of a show. Jupiter's Legacy is from Mark Miller, the man behind Kick-Ass and Kingsman, but when he tackles a more average, run-of-the-mill superhero-filled world, it turns out that his stuff... I mean, well, it only deserves Josh Duhamel as the lead. See, I was recently talking about the incredible world building of Invincible as a superhero show, and The Boys, you can see it similarly, though that's more of a take on the superhero genre. The Invincible feels like it's actually building a superhero world while also kind of doing its own deconstruction of the genre. What Jupiter's Legacy does a little differently to those shows is that there are a lot of characters, but it doesn't actually focus on almost any of them to a degree that actually means there's a story arc for them over this 8-episode first season. You've got your time split practically evenly between the present and 1929 or so, where Josh Duhamel as a young man loses his fortune after his father kills himself during the beginning of the Great Depression. He gets depressed at the beginning of the Great Depression. Rich white kid problems. Now you'd think that from there we'd move pretty quickly to him going through the visions he has of his dead father losing his girlfriend, exploring a weird house in Kansas, and then coming back, putting together a team of very specific people and travelling with them from Morocco out into the middle of nowhere. Also, they can find a Jules Verne novel waiting for them, and eventually, after several vague trials that lead them to Jupiter, where they receive their powers, they would, go on and tackle the world at that time. Things like World War II and stuff like that as superheroes. But they don't. It's not fast. That didn't happen quickly. Gosh darn it. Oh, rats, burgers. Oh, no. Yeah, so it takes the entire first season just for them in the past, where we spend half of our time to see them get their powers. And you know it's coming the whole time, so the fact that nothing surprising or interesting happens in the flashbacks, which are a really large portion of the show, makes this first season shit. Anyway, as Josh's idiotic morals are tested, his wife questions how she's followed him unquestioningly all this time, his brother remains that guy with those mind powers that you can never really trust, his son remains a little bitch despite wising up and killing when he guts to kill, and his daughter starts off as a drug-addled waster and remains a drug-addled waster. Here is my 1-minute review for Jupiter's Legacy. I really hope this show gets cancelled before I have to watch any more of it, because it just isn't worth it. I'm not saying that it's really badly made. I think it's boring. I think that the actual story arc, which there isn't much of throughout this first season, is a problem, because they could be doing better. They could be doing more with this concept, okay? I don't love the cast. I like Leslie Bibb a lot, but everybody else here feels so basic as characters. There is one good fight scene in an 8-episode superhero show. And that's it. And it's like an episode in. And then they spend the rest of the time wondering about the repercussions of that and whether it was right or wrong and dealing with the morals of it. And that's boring. And they don't do anything else around that. That's the main thing going on in the present, and then the past. We already know what's going on, and it's also boring. So it's boring. The show is boring. So I'm giving May As Well Be Jupiter Ascending for all the good it did me 59 out of 100. I don't think it's a tragically bad show. It's fairly well made in most filmmaking aspects, but the actual story and the world building and the characters, and no, you know what, it is quite badly made in some ways. God, Josh Duhamel has been doing this for 90 years and has never killed one person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It couldn't matter less. But there are so many other TV shows that are more worth reviewing, and a lot of others that you guys probably just want to see me trash like this. So you let me know what you want to see next in the comments, and you go ahead and subscribe, because if you don't, I will not kill you for 90 years of fighting you as a super... It's unbelievable.